Let's do this. I'm excited for this one. I've actually been thinking about what I'm about to talk about for about a week since college classes, have started again. This semester, I'm not too interested in, to be honest with you. My shift in consciousness has really been taking me away from any interest in education, mainly because we're now realizing as a society that a good portion of what we learn in school is completely irrelevant to anything we'll do in life. Kinda sucks. Anyway, moving on. So, my history class, I walked in and the professor I should say, was commenting on behalf of students being late, which I thought was ridiculous because we're old enough now to be realizing that if we're paying for it, it means that we really want to be there, or we don't, we just feel like we actually have to take it because we think that college is going to do something for us. Yeah, okay. With that said, after my professor mentioned to one of the students that he was upset that he was late, he said, "I suggest you get a heavier foot." This I don't connect with, mainly because something really bad could happen. That student can get into an accident and, his life could be in danger. And the gist of what I'm trying to get at right now is all about the education system and what it's lacking, because it's not working for students. And I think that it's time that we address this now because, the talk is out there and it needs to be deconstructed. So let's start off with education and what education is. As we've been brought up in society, we've been told, I guess, kind of, that education this is what's important. Right here, this is what's important. And as a teacher or professor, it is the teacher or professor's job to stuff you with stuff that's apparently important. And students might not at all be interested in any of the stuff. And the curriculum, which is ridiculous very often, the curriculum itself is just an absolute bore. And the way that the class is constructed. There's a word in sociology, I want to call it student passivity, but I'm not entirely sure that's true. But what happens is basically all of the potential creativity inside of the classroom is basically stripped. And basically there's no enthusiasm whatsoever coming from the students because, maybe they are interested in learning about something, and then the professor just goes and says, "This is my class, these are my rules, this is how it's going to happen." I 100% respect teachers and professors. It's a very selfless job. It entails potentially creating a future for students. But what I disagree with, let's jump into the root of education, which is in Latin, educare, I do believe. What does educare mean? So educare is basically focused on bringing out rather than putting in. And so the difference between the real sense of education and the education system today is that students are being stuffed with unimportant stuff rather than being opened up and have their interest brought out and evolved into something that actually matters. I'm gonna be completely honest with what I'm about to say right now and just say it. A good portion of the stuff that we learn in the education system, we will literally never use in our entire lives. And if we ever do need to use it, there are already machines, literally intelligent machines built to fulfill that purpose. So, with that said, and I'm sure that you all can agree, on the same behalf, but what really upsets me about this whole process of education and how backwards it is that the real education is opening up a student and bringing out their interest and helping them evolve with that. Rather, what's happening in the education system today instead is that professors are working with a a syllabus, if you will, or, you know, a certain curriculum. And this is what's important, and this is what I'm going to stuff you with regardless. And I don't care, and you're gonna do it, and it's that simple. And see what this does to students. Don't get me wrong, there are some students here that, some students here and there that either do kind of care or pretend to care because they know that they apparently need to get through this in order to get their degree that will, you know, apparently bring them money. But it just blows my mind because this beautiful process of learning and evolving with what it is that you're interested in, it's made really bad when students are just stuffed with a bunch of really unnecessary crap. And this, in my opinion, is the wrong of the education system. And, you know, we're coming to a point in time where literally everything is changing. Stuff that we learn in college, not only will we never use, but we're actually wasting time in college learning this stuff because it's ancient. It's like a horse and buggy. And, you know, when students could be learning about stuff that's relevant and that could actually help them make money now because of newer technology and newer ways of, you know, producing and creating and everything, we're kind of stuck with this old ancient method that didn't even work in the 80s or whatever it was. And it needs to change because, you know, students are now realizing that they actually don't need an education. Well, it's not that they don't need an education, they don't need, you know, that diploma or that paper. And it's true, you don't need college to make good money in life. That's just, I'm gonna throw that out there as a reality because that is 100% fact. There are people out there that are making really good money and they don't have a college degree. I would argue that there are some things out there that are necessary for a college degree. But what's interesting about these things out there that are necessary for a college degree is that most of the stuff that you learn within these areas you can read in books from the library. So this is the other issue too, is that the whole argument regarding how education and the education system is falling apart is that it also crumbles even more when you realize that everything that is being taught in a classroom is literally professors reading and using material from books that you can just rent from the library, not spend a disgustingly gross amount of money. I just used disgustingly and gross in the same sentence. That was completely unnecessary. Amount of money when you could just rent it and just read it. You know, like a lot of, you know, illusory things are kind of just like degrading now, and we're realizing the reality of how things work. But truly, that's how I see it, and I think that that's how it is, to be honest with you. Professors should not be just stuffing unnecessary, unimportant stuff into students. Instead, they should be individually trying to get an idea for what the student is interested in and opening them up and helping them evolve with that, because that's what's actually important. That's what's going to help them grow as an individual. To be honest, as a student, we really don't care about a lot of this stuff, you know, and a lot of it is very irrelevant, and we will never use it. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you got something out of this. Please subscribe, please like if you like this, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.